Hi, I'm Patty McGarrahan with the Mind's Eye, and today we have Tara Devine with us. She's taking classes with me, and she's been doing some other stuff, and I'm so excited. She's always been like the master of the sea glass, and you always hear that she's going out, she's collecting sea glass and everything. So today we've got her bringing some of the sea glass, and she's got some extraordinary pieces and stuff to show. So Tara, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks,
today.
Patty. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited that you came, and I have never seen the collection this much of the stuff, so I'm very excited to see it too as well.
Yep, this is just a fraction of my collection, but I've brought a little bit of each category.
Now, what drew you to start? Like you just on the beach, when you went on the beach, you like finding sea glass?
I can't even remember, to be honest. When I was a kid, I used to go to, my grandparents had a Cape Cod beach house. And so being an only child and being with my grandparents when my cousins weren't there, I could go to the end of the street and walk the bay. And that was how I would clear my head, entertain myself. And I just fell in love with beach combing and everything coastal. But being a Rhode Islander, I would put it on the back burner here and there, but when I moved to Warwick 20 some odd years ago, again being close to the bay, I was finding more and more opportunities to find sea glass, and my passion was reignited. And
nice.
I just love finding a piece that I can keep, and to me it's just really exciting.
Nice.
Yeah.
And when you post something, it's like, ooh, I love seeing the stuff posted.
I appreciate that.
So glad that you came here today. Before we even start, show the necklace. That was such an and if the camera can come in.
We'll see. So for a long time I was only collecting, and then about 8 or 9 years ago I learned how to drill sea glass. And there's actually a process. It has to be in water so it won't break, and so on and so forth. And
seawater or any water?
It's just, the water is just to keep it cool so it won't break when you're drilling it. If you just drill it dry, it'll just break, and you'll just go through drill bits. But that's a whole nother story. But so when I found out how to drill, I started creating with the pieces that I had. So one of my most rarest and favorite pieces is this that I have on this necklace, which appears to be black. I don't know if,
yep,
there we go.
There you go.
So black sea glass is a rare find, because when you're looking for sea glass, if you see black, you oftentimes think it's a rock unless you're really close. So that's what makes it rare. And the other reason why they call it pirate glass is because it's actually
olive green.
I don't know if can you see it?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Excellent.
Yep.
Isn't that cool? I thought that was so cool when she showed it to me at the beginning.
So yeah, so just like when you find white sea glass, that was once clear glass, but from it being tumbled by the salt water and the sand and the surf, it frosts it so it looks white. So that's a lot of times black was once green or other colors, sometimes olive, sometimes brown, but the frosting that occurs from the tumbling of the salt water and the sand
changes the color,
makes it appear black in the same process.
Excellent.
So I brought a fraction of my home collection. So we have everything from dark greens, purples, aquas, Kelly greens, whites. I have some sea pottery. I have some larger pieces with words on them. And then I also have what's called bonfire glass.
They have to show the...
So bonfire glass is sea glass. It's tumbled and frosted just like any other, but you can see in some of them how it's folded along each other. It's like curly and bumpy, and it's because it was in a bonfire. Some pieces people think are struck by lightning, which this one could be. It's actually a blue and a white that's fused together. Whether it's through fire or lightning, who's to say?
Who's
but
to say?
I find those to be exciting finds as well.
Absolutely. Do you want these two? I thought that was cool.
So these are not my most tumbled pieces, but I've kept them for my personal collection because they have words. So this says hood, hood. This is the bottom of a salad dressing bottle because it says wishbone.
And we were talking about it before this started, how, like, even I remember it at glass, but like forever ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like some of them are starting to come out with glass again, but really, wishbone salad dressing, when was the
Yeah,
last
we've been
time?
in plastic for a long time.
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
the 60s or 70s.
I would have to think so, yeah.
And this is like a little wine bottle.
Nice.
Now, these here are some of my larger pieces. So noisy. But they appear to be kind of pastel.
Oh, they do.
So, depending on the light.
Yep.
So
Almost
one's
like there's a blue tint in that
kind
one.
of pink, yeah,
Yep.
one's kind of lavender. And a lot of the purples that you'll find, so here's a little dish of purple. So this is actually purple. But this was probably clear, which turned white. But when some of the clear glass that has manganese in it is exposed to sun, it turns lavender.
Oh, really?
So most of the lavender pieces that you find were originally clear or white, and the manganese in the glass makes it turn purple in the sun.
Wow, excellent.
Yep.
And we know we like purples.
Yeah, I knew that would be your favorite
That would
one.
be my favorite one.
Yeah. So, you know, another little bit of science is, I don't know if this will show up. So these are pieces of milk glass. So they're, you know, they're opaque. You can't see through them, but they're still glass. They're white. And these aren't that tumbled, so I put them aside to discard or throw back. And then I found out that, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but one of them glows. And you'll find that in some of the clear pieces as well. And the reason for that is the glowing ones have uranium in the glass. So
That's amazing to
just
me.
another sign of possibly how old the piece could be.
Yeah. It's crazy.
I also collect, you know, the pottery. So we have just regular pottery, but you can see the ridge that this was once a big plate. You know, I love to find things that have
The design
beautiful
on them. Yep.
patterns, china patterns, little Grolsch bottle stoppers that my friend thinks they're fairy houses. And here's
like
another
that.
one with a really pretty pattern.
That is beautiful.
And then I have these that are, I don't know if you can see them on camera, they're clay pottery that were once the clay pipes that people would smoke in the 1800s. So they're super old.
Wow.
Now, whether they were, you know, fell into the ocean back in the 1800s or if they sat in someone's house until 1975 and then went, I don't know. You know, who's to say?
You're just
but
finding them, yes.
it's just part of the just imagining, you know.
Now, how did the ones turn so green? Is it something
So-
that creates that?
Nope, they were green.
Oh, they were green.
Yeah, these were just, you know, and depending on what part of the world you're in, green is, you know, it's one of my favorites, you know, because they're so bright. But in this part of the world, green is kind of rare. Let me rephrase that. There's tons of green glass on the beach, but a lot of it is just broken Heineken bottles, and it's not sea glass yet. So to find an actually well tumbled frosted piece of green sea glass is rare. You know, but it's just that's part of my passion is just finding a piece. You know, a lot of it doesn't come home with me. A lot of it gets thrown back. It's not ready yet. It's not ready yet. Sea glass.
That must be so calming, though, to go on the beach and do that.
It is. It's meditative, therapeutic. And you mentioned earlier that I've taken classes at the Mind's Eye, and I've
Taught many yourself too.
Yep, I have a background of I've been doing spiritual and healing work since the 90s. Dating myself, but yeah, I think I took my first Reiki attunement in 1998 and have been doing it, sporadically or not.
Did your first one before me?
Yeah.
I think I was 2000, so I think you beat me by a couple of years.
Yeah, so so that's how you and I met, was through the spiritual and healing community. And I went on to do different things. I've done, worked at your events doing readings. A few years ago, became a certified hypnotherapist, and for the past few years, I've been developing hypnosis programs. And use that as a form of therapy.
It makes sense because this stuff is very hypnotic.
So that's my point, is that, what, this has always been a hobby for me and a passion for me, but now that I'm like at a different stage in my life, as far as, where I am in my family and my kids are growing and different things like that.
You had a couple graduate, right? Did the twins graduate?
Yes, yes, they did.
That seems so, I'm saying, I thought of them that high.
Yeah, they're going to be 19 on Friday.
Wow.
And my daughter's 23, just came home today from Paris. So everyone's busy, everyone's, our roles are changing. And things are shifting in the climate of the country, and so on and so forth. And we just have to find our sweet spot, in the week, and this is mine. And I said, I have to do what I've been preaching to my clients.
Yes.
I have to, embrace. I tell my clients all the time, whether it be someone that comes to me for a 15-minute reading or someone who comes to me for a, 12-hour hypnosis program, it's like, you have to embrace what you love. That's how you raise your vibration. That's how you get in the frequency of manifesting. That's how you get into the frequency of improving all other aspects of your life.
And I never know. I have about a handful of methods that I use to get me in that mode, especially because I can be wired tight, and I have different ones. But sometimes it could be meditative music, and then the next time, I want to listen to Kid Rock to chill out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And a lot
Same.
of times it is the ocean. I could never live away from the ocean. I could not do that. I have to have the ocean nearby.
Yeah.
And other times I go for a ride because I need to be like in the mountains.
Yeah.
So it's always different with me, what it is. But I'm blown away by this because it just, what a cool thing to do.
Yeah. Well, nature also raises your vibration and gets you in alignment to, sea glass is my thing, but I just, when I spread this message, it's just find your thing. And when you are doing your thing, your relationships improve, your money increases, your timing improves.
You're bringing positive into your life.
It just overlaps into so many areas of your life.
Now, is your bracelet sea glass too?
Yeah, this is all little.
Oh, how cute!
My little chips that I made into beads.
I didn't notice that until just now. That's beautiful.
So I have all the different colors on there.
Yep.
So
now, what's this one?
So these are my rarest pieces.
Oh, cool.
So there is a scale for I'm in a lot of sea glass groups online, and there's a scale that sea glass enthusiasts have for.
Oh, really?
For what's the rarest color and so far and so forth. Again, we're in New England, so we're usually limited to the colors, the aquas, the greens, the clear, the brown.
A little purple.
And I didn't bring any brown except for the bonfire glass. I do have a lot of brown because that's the most common. I don't pick up brown that often, but some of my pieces are really, really thick, and those are the Clorox bleach bottles from back in like the 50s or something. But anyway, so this is a pink. It's like a corally pink color.
Wow. Beautiful.
And that's probably the rarest color. We have pieces like this that have the metal throughout it. It was safety glass that looks like a fence, but it's embedded into the glass. So I found some of that. I have some like science, lab pieces. I have some stoppers, different things. So this
That's very cool.
Another rare color is gray. It's not that exciting, but it's rare because gray pieces oftentimes were TV screens. The old
Really?
tube before plasmas and LEDs. There was remember the
screens?
console
Yes.
TV with the wood sides and the big tube, and so those screens, if you were to take them off and smash them, it's actually gray. So I have little tubes and some reds and blues, and I have, little porcelain dolls that I found on the beach, and these are just, this is like my little treasure. It's my
I love
my
it.
personal treasure, but
Your personal treasure.
yeah.
Yep.
So, and these are all bottle tops, bottlenecks that I found. I saved. And
All different colors, huh?
yeah, those are some of my favorites because of the colors.
And then how long were you doing this before you started doing the jewelry stuff and doing jewelry?
I mean, again,
designs?
I've enjoyed it since those early days, when I was 8 years old on the bay in Cape Cod, in Falmouth. But when you're working and raising kids, and these things often, I'll do it later. One day I'll do it. It's I'd love to be able to do that again. And it's like, yes, like I said, my life has changed now, but now I'm putting it up on the list. I'm making it a priority. I'm putting it in my calendar. I have a Tides app. So I look at when it's going to be low tide, and I put it in my calendar. I'm scheduled. I have an appointment with the beach at that time on that day, and I schedule it in, and I make it a priority now.
Excellent, excellent.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I love it.
Yeah, I would never think to do that. And like I said, when I was going through a tough time, like we're talking like 30, 40 years ago, when I was going through a real tough time, I would put the kids all in the car and go up to Narragansett and just sit on the wall.
Yeah, yeah.
And watch the water, and that just...
Yeah, and that's the thing. I love the beach. I love the beach in Rhode Island. I love the beach in South Carolina. I love hanging out on the beach. That's different. People say, oh, I go to the beach all the time and I don't find one piece of sea glass. And I say, well, because you're going to the swimming beaches, you're going to the ocean beaches. Very rare to find sea glass on those beaches.
I have had my grandson a couple of times has found them.
Yeah, it's not impossible. It's just not as abundant on those beaches. And there are beaches I've heard of in Rhode Island that I have yet to visit. It's in the plans.
It's in the plans. Old Orchard Beach, I think you found a couple of pieces too.
Oh, up in Maine, yeah.
Up in Maine.
Maine has got a lot. Maine has a lot. And there are some actual sea glass retreats out there that go to Aruba and Puerto Rico, and places where you can find the oranges and the yellows and the
Nice.
The colors that are very rare around here.
Right. So why don't you show some of the pieces too?
So like I said, about 8 or 9 years ago, I started. I learned how to drill, and so I've been making my own jewelry.
Oh, explain that with the drill, what you have to do, because I thought that was interesting when you told me.
Yep, so I use a little drill. Personally, I use a Dremel or a craft drill, and you have to get special drill bits, and you have to know, you'll go through them.
I'm a disaster, so I can just imagine.
So that's part of, is it ADHD? I don't know, but that's one of the reasons why I love this whole sea glass process, because I love going out and finding it. And then I love going home and designing something. And then I love getting the Dremel out to drill it and make the design come together. And there's so many different steps in the process. So here's
the stuff has to be in water, you were telling me.
So what I do is I take a little piece. So say this is probably going to be a pendant. So I would put it in, something like this, like a jar lid from like spaghetti sauce or mayonnaise, and I would put it in and submerge it in water, any water, and that just, when you drill with the special drill bit that's meant for glass, keeping it in water will keep it so it won't break.
Nice.
so that you can get the hole through nice and clean, and you can make a piece of jewelry or an ornament out of it. So, so once I learned how to do that, I was hooked on creating. Again, my kids.
That thing you just put down.
So
that
this is
that
one of the things
gorgeous.
that I've created. This is a snowflake ornament. 18 pieces of sea glass on here with some regular glass beads just for enhancement.
That is beautiful.
I have some little Christmas tree ornaments. I have my first thing that I was making was angels. So this is sea glass and sea pottery. And I have a few different styles now. So that's kind of my signature item is the angels. The snowflakes I just started doing this year. You know, I really like this one because the sea pottery has the pattern on it from someone's china from back in the day. Has little green flowers on it. And again, like jewelry. And now I taught myself this year how to carve with the drill. So this piece has a paw print carved into the pendant.
Oh, beautiful.
And I have another piece, another pendant that has a heart that I've carved into it with the drill. And this is just carved. I didn't carve in this one. I just drilled the hole and attached the jewelry findings. So the silver pieces are all sterling.
Oh, the Christmas tree. Okay, I couldn't remember what that was.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh, show the one that was Maxine's favorite.
So I did a sea glass succulent. So like
that is fabulous.
The little plants that we all like. So sea glass can make leaves. Who knew?
Who knew? I would never think of that.
So Christmas trees are in the works. And then I have a lot of these, like little bottle bottoms, and I just put them on the shelf with a little candle.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah.
You know, I have this one's big, so I would like to find one like that that's intact. I've always wanted one, a sea glass soap dish.
A sea glass soap dish, yeah.
But yeah, I have some other ones like that I use as saucers for under regular plants. And
what a good idea.
I just have sea glass.
You just have
uses
sea glass
all over the place.
So what in the wintertime you can't go looking, obviously.
I was out there today in 34-degree weather.
Were you really?
Yeah, I just bundle up. Just bundle up and go out. Actually, the winter's the best time because it's not as picked over. I have the beach to myself. All the pieces are for me.
I love
actually,
that.
there was one or two other people out there, but it just depends where you go. Yeah. But I go year round. You know, again, another.
Because I don't know. I can't picture myself thinking of that like when it's 30. And the cold does not bother me. So it would have, but I would never think to just go on the beach. That's fabulous.
I was pretty cold, but you know, I'm just very grateful to live so close to the bay where I can do that.
And you know what it is too is besides the getting the sea glass, and you're also getting the ocean air and the water splashing around you and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's got to be so
It is.
chilling.
And I don't, as tempted as I am, anything else I do in my life, I have my phone on, whether it's music or a podcast or, you know, what have you, YouTube. I don't allow myself to do that when I'm looking for sea glass because I'm enjoying the sound of the little waves coming in. I usually have a bunch of ducks or seagulls, also talking to each other in front of me, and the salt air, and I absorb all that, and that's my time. And that's my time to talk to my source and the creator of all of that.
Yep. And I got to tell you, mentally, that is the primary place that I go to when I'm going to my safe nature place.
Yeah.
Is the beach.
Yeah.
And watching the waves come down and stuff like that. That kept me sane during some insane periods of my life.
I love the woods, and I have family in the mountains, and I love that. And you know, but this is my thing.
That's your thing.
When I go to the mountains and through the forest, I'll pick up some pine cones and take them home. But this is my passion.
Yeah.
The sea glass.
You're really good at your passion too.
So,
Yeah.
thanks.
That is so. And you
Thanks.
can, as I said, when she posts something on your Facebook page, what is your Facebook page?
So I'm just posting this on my personal page. So,
Right, that's
so,
what, Tara Devine?
Tara Devine.
Tara Devine.
Yeah,
and
Facebook and Instagram.
And I got to tell you something. I can feel the energy off your posts when you're doing sea glass stuff.
Yeah.
I just know that you can feel how excited you are. Do you know what I mean? It
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
I really am, and it's like I don't post as much of my finds as I used to.
Lately, you have been a little bit more.
Lately, I've been posting my creations because I've been creating more. I got a new setup for my drill, so.
A new setup for your drill.
So I have been posting my creations more. My finds, I'll post once in a while, and I'm like, I don't know if people want to see that, and I'm like,
Yes.
well, if they don't, they keep scrolling, you know. So it's all
No,
good.
I love seeing it. I
It's
love
all
seeing
good.
it.
Well, I
Yeah,
appreciate
it is,
that. So
yeah.
I'll keep
And I had to
posting.
laugh because the girl that you got the bag of the stuff that she gave me to give you.
Yes.
She lives in Mass line, like towards the Cape type of thing.
Yeah.
And Rhode Island Mass line, and she has been through so much in the last 3 years. It's the only thing that's keeping her balanced.
Yeah.
Is collecting the sea glass.
It is.
She doesn't get into the designing and everything. So she was reaching a point where she's saying, "What do? I keep picking up sea glass." And so I said, "I got somebody that would love it."
Oh, yeah. Well, tell her I appreciate it.
Yeah, I did tell her that you appreciate it, and I showed her some pictures of what you were doing, and she was so excited.
Oh, yeah.
It made her day.
Like I said, I was saying earlier, I just did my first event. I did my first event this past weekend where I took my creations and put them up at the event. It was I did a couple craft fairs, so I'm like,
Yeah.
this might be a new
gig for you.
A new gig for me.
I got to tell you, I do thank you so much for coming here today.
Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, no, I absolutely, I've enjoyed it. It's just so different than the realm that we normally go into. It was just a nice change.
It is different, but it incorporates everything else.
It
you know,
absolutely.
If you listen to any of the spiritual teachers and coaches and manifesting, the majority of what they say is stop thinking, get out of your head. And when I'm doing this, I'm not thinking.
No.
I'm just enjoying.
Yes.
And that's something that I've been, like I said, telling my clients to do for years, and I'm implementing what I've been talking about.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Tara Devine on Facebook.
Thank you.
You can reach her on Instagram, and
Instagram.
she's fabulous.
Thank you, Patty. You're
Take care.
fabulous.
Thank you.
So fun.